Store now, decrypt later. I mean, it sounds exactly like the tagline for some futuristic sci-fi thriller, doesn't it? But here's the thing. This is a very real, very chilling strategy happening literally right now. Attackers are quietly sweeping up and hoarding encrypted blockchain data. It's completely unreadable to them today, sure, but they're just waiting for the exact moment when quantum computers become powerful enough to just snap those cryptographic locks right open. So welcome to the ultimate high-stakes race, the digital vault versus the ultimate safecracker.
Welcome to The Explainer, everyone. I'm really thrilled you're joining us today because we are tackling a totally fascinating and honestly incredibly urgent topic, the threat of quantum computing to blockchain security. Now, we usually think of blockchain as this impenetrable mathematical fortress, right? But the sheer speed of quantum technology advancing is forcing all of us to ask some pretty tough questions about the long-term safety of that fortress. So let's just dive right in.
Here's our roadmap for today. 1. The blockchain vault. 2. Enter the quantum threat. 3. Breaking RSA and ECDSA. 4. The SHA-256 problem. And finally, 5. Post-quantum solutions. Let's get to it. Starting off with Section 1, the blockchain vault.
Okay, so a blockchain isn't secure just because it's decentralized. It's secure because of the hardcore math running under the hood. Our whole current trust model relies on these massively complex cryptographic locks. They do 3 big things for us. They authenticate users, they verify transactions, and they guarantee data integrity. Right now, almost all platforms use algorithms like RSA, ECDSA, and SHA-256 to do the heavy lifting. Think of these as the heavy-duty digital deadbolts on your assets. They rely on math problems so tough, it would literally take a traditional computer billions of years to solve them.
Section 2. Enter the quantum threat.
So what actually happens when the computer trying to pick those locks completely ignores the traditional rules of computing? Classical computers use bits, standard ones and zeros. Breaking something like RSA means factoring massive numbers, which just takes an impossible amount of time. But quantum computers are a whole different beast entirely. They use qubits. By tapping into the mind-bending, bizarre physics of quantum mechanics, qubits process information in a completely different way. For certain math problems, like factoring those huge numbers, a quantum computer isn't just a little bit faster, it's breathtakingly efficient. It takes a billion-year calculation and turns it into, well, a quick afternoon errand.
And that brings us to Section 3, Breaking RSA and ECDSA.
Time to meet the first real villain of our story, Shor's algorithm. This is a specific quantum algorithm designed with one major purpose, solving integer factorization and discrete logarithm problems super efficiently. In classical computing, these exact math problems are considered the gold standard of impossible to solve quickly. But Shor's algorithm? It takes those impossible problems and makes them a total walk in the park for a quantum machine.
So here's the terrifying part. RSA and ECDSA, which are the absolute workhorses of public key cryptography protecting your identity and your crypto transactions right now, rely 100% on the difficulty of that exact math, factoring and elliptic curves. Because Shor's algorithm specializes in solving those specific problems, it's essentially the perfect skeleton key. It is literally designed to pick these exact mathematical locks.
If we don't fix this, we're looking at a complete domino effect of disaster. If a quantum computer runs Shor's algorithm and cracks RSA or ECDSA, the impacts are massive. First up, total exposure of private keys. An attacker could figure out your private key just by looking at your public key. And as we all know in blockchain, your private key is your absolute proof of ownership. Once they have that, boom, unauthorized account access. They can just transfer your assets. Then they can forge completely fake but mathematically valid digital signatures. Ultimately, the entire network loses all trust. The system completely breaks down.
All right, Section 4, the SHA-256 problem.
Meet our second quantum safecracker. This one is called Grover's algorithm. Now, unlike Shor's, which loves factoring, Grover's is essentially a hyper-fast search tool. It radically speeds up searching operations, completely slashing the effort it takes to find matching hash values. Imagine you're looking for a specific, single grain of sand on a massive beach. Grover's algorithm is like having a magical magnet that just pulls that exact grain straight into your hand instantly.
Now, there is some nuance here. Unlike RSA and ECDSA, SHA-256, which is the hash function that links the blocks together securely, is not completely destroyed by quantum computing. So, okay, you can breathe a tiny sigh of relief there. But Grover's algorithm severely reduces its effective security margin. It makes brute-forcing hash collisions way more practical.
So no, the vault doors aren't completely blown off their hinges, but the walls are definitely getting dangerously thin.
This threat matrix really puts the whole landscape into perspective. On one side, you have RSA and ECDSA going head-to-head with Shor's algorithm, which leads directly to catastrophic private key exposure and forged signatures. On the other side, SHA-256 is up against Grover's algorithm, leaving us with an uncomfortably reduced security margin. Looking at this, it's pretty obvious why the blockchain community absolutely cannot just sit back and hope for the best.
Which logically brings us to the single most important question of this entire explainer. How do we actually secure the blockchain's future before these quantum safecrackers show up? Because remember that store now, decrypt later clock? Yeah, it's already ticking.
Section 5. Post-quantum solutions. Let's look at how we fight back.
The industry's answer to all of this is something called post-quantum cryptography, or PQC. PQC involves creating entirely new cryptographic locks based on completely different, much harder math problems. The goal is simple. Build locks that are basically impossible for classical computers to pick, but crucially, also impossible for quantum computers to pick. We are literally changing out the locks on the vault to a mechanism the safecrackers haven't even studied yet. And researchers are coming at this from a few really fascinating angles. First, there's lattice-based cryptography, which hides data inside these incredibly complex multidimensional mathematical grids. Second, we have hash-based digital signatures, which lean heavily on supercharged hashing functions instead of traditional factoring. And third, code-based cryptography, which uses advanced error-correcting codes to scramble and hide information. Baking these new methods into our networks is exactly how we're going to build the next quantum-proof generation of blockchain.
Now, before we wrap this up, I want to be crystal clear about something. Blockchain is not becoming insecure today. Please don't panic. The quantum computers that exist right now, they are simply not powerful or stable enough to run Shor's or Grover's algorithms at a scale that can actually hack a real-world blockchain. Your assets are safe today. But, as we've explored, getting ready for the quantum era isn't just a fun experiment. It is a totally non-negotiable evolution if we want to maintain trust in these systems long-term. So, I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. With all that encrypted data piling up in the store now, decrypt later vaults, and with quantum technology making massive leaps every single year, will the global transition to post-quantum cryptography actually be completed before the ultimate quantum safecrackers arrive? It is one heck of a high-stakes race, and you can bet we'll be watching it closely. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next one.